Hello, beautiful soul family, and welcome to Weekly Wisdom and Insights, your home for spiritually guided transformation and empowerment. I am your host, Dearjames, and together with the unseen, Spirit, Source, and Symphony, we listen to the weekly wisdom, the energy, the intuitive guidance, and we connect to our soul source connection and we go as guided. So here we are, a new month, new energies, and really it's a new overall it's the reason I'm stammering a little bit is because they said to us, focus on the new, because it's what we're receiving, what's arriving, not what's leaving us, not what we're leaving behind. And so in this month of new and the beautiful energies of the 11, November is an 11, and remember, it often speaks to this beautiful image. The 11 speaks to the 1001. It's the way. The ones represent an 11. It's a master number, and it is the most intuitive master number. And so it is this listening to our soul source connection, listening to the way, not a way. And also, before we jump into all of these amazing energies, I just want to remind everyone, Amaji, return to the mother. We have been on this journey since November of 2021, so 2 years ago on the 17th of this month. And this is all about the return to the divine feminine, the return to the mother, and the liberation, the freedom, the manumission, this clearing of debts, this letting go of the past to receive the new, the present, the gifts. And so there's so many beautiful opportunities here. And number 11 in the I Ching, hexagram number 11, is about the word peace. And just as I'm going to put my specs on for a second here. So welcome, Lorna. Welcome, Olivia. And as you are joining from around the globe, please put your shout out in the comments and everything. Let us know that you're there. And we will continue on. So here's our main theme. And so we're going to have a deep dive discussion. New beginnings, peace. It's about peace. And this sitting at the altar of destiny. And the definition of altar, an altar is a raised area, typically in a house of worship, where people can honor God with offerings. So higher source, higher power. It's made of offerings. It's prominent in the Bible. And indeed, it's a sacred place regarding sacrifices, gifts, and so forth that are offered up. And it says the word altar comes from the Latin alterium, meaning high, and also to the Latin adolere, which means to richly burn or sacrifice, which suggests its earliest purposes as detailed in the Bible. Nowadays, the altar is the place for non-sacrificial religious rites such as communion or weddings, or we have spiritual altars, and is a metaphor for offerings. Comedian Stephen Fry once said, "I am a lover of truth, a worshiper of freedom, a celebrant at the altar of language and purity and tolerance." This is from vocabulary.com, and that could not be more true. Now let's move on, and I'm leaving up the image of our main theme, New Beginnings, Peace, sitting at the altar of destiny. So I'm focusing on altar and next destiny. Destiny is what's meant to be, what's written in the stars, your inescapable fate. It's a noun meaning fate. Destiny is synonymous with other nouns like divine decree, fortune, serendipity. There's no avoiding destiny. It's going to happen no matter what you do. But before you get bogged down worrying or anything like that about what the distant future holds, they said, remember what Winston Churchill said. It is a mistake to look too far ahead. Only one link in the chain of destiny can be handled at a time. So it is, again, this very important aspect of not becoming overwhelmed by the day-to-day actions, by the day-to-day energies and things that are happening in our world, it is to take one link of destiny at a time. And in our personal lives, our individual lives, it is to simply say, okay, God, okay, Source, okay, Symphony, okay, Spirit, what did my soul say it would do? Who am I now? And what's my next step? It's simple things. And it is engaging with your soul source connection. It is, as we have talked about, and I'm laughing before I say it, it is about placing our ego, mind, personality in the sidecar. It's on that sidecar of the motorcycle. The soul is driving. The new is all about the soul. Soul source connection, higher GPS, higher guidance, and that is how we will live our lives. And that is how we will effectuate and bring about profound change within ourselves and within the world that we're living in. So going back to this, so we have this sitting at the altar of destiny. New beginnings, peace, sitting at the altar of destiny. And they had me underline the word, the unseen had me underline the word sitting. Sitting is it's to receive. We're in a receptive position, stance, when we sit. It is not actionary. It's not walking, it's not getting ready to launch a race. Sitting is to receive. Sitting also denotes having a seat at the table. So again, it means we're present. We are at the altar of destiny, ready to receive. Very big opening for this week. The image, again, I want to just bring it back up too, because the image that you see, here's the streaming light coming in, the color green, this color of abundance, color of source, nourishment, everything that we prize, nature and everything, Mother Earth, all of these things that are alive, abundant, fruitful, this color green. And then you see the light streaming through, there's an altar, there's a chalice, a cup, sitting on the altar. And it's often been said that the cup is, in essence, the representation of the Holy Grail. This cup, the vessel, this blood of Christ, if you will, the sang real, the royal blood, and this connection that we have. All of humanity has this beautiful connection to this royal lineage, this divine source. And this is where peace, and I'm going to connect this for you, this is where it was just so magical, because peace is a word that has lost its meaning. We have talked about it for millennia, peace. And I brought this up in a couple shows, there's a kind of a joke about, in beauty pageants, what does each contestant want? Quote unquote, air quotes, world peace. What they're talking about, what the unseen is talking about in this new energy, this 11 month, and this energy of peace. When we reside in a soul source lane, space, connection, and the ego mind personality is taking a side seat, that's where peace, that's where true peace resides. Because anything shy of that lane, we are in ego mind personality, action, thought, judgment, so forth. And so it denies us, quote unquote, peace. True peace is being one with your soul. And what I'm hearing is, how do you get there? How do you do this? Okay, that sounds wonderful. It's amazing. But however, the way we get there is simply by exercising our soul source connection. Change lanes. It's not the lane we're used to. We are used to an ego, mind, personality, thought-driven, action, PISCEAN, patriarchal mode, lane, life, existence. And yet what we are being called to do is wake up, recognize and change lanes. And we're going to see how the messages today all play to this beautiful messaging of when we are in the lane, the space, the lane of soul source connection, my soul, my intuition, my gut, I'm listening and I'm exercising and I'm going as guided, versus ego, mind, personality, thought, I'm thinking. There's a peace. And when you exercise that lane and you remain in that space long enough, you will come to recognize, and I'm smiling because I'm sharing this even from my own personal experience. There's a unconscious awareness that comes to your consciousness that it's like, oh, I'm really seemingly everything going on and what might be happening in my life or this, that, or the other. And yet I have this joy, this happiness, this peace. It's not something I'm doing, meaning actionary, ego, mind, personality, patriarchal, Mars, this divine masculine, I'm creating it. It's not outside of me. It's something that's emanating from within. And that is attributable to being in this space of the divine feminine, of your soul source connection, of leading and living with your soul at the forefront. So a big opening. I'm hammering the points home, and then we're going to jump into all of this. So let me know how this is resonating in the comments. I'm going to jump into them because this is a very interesting, and we're going to continue with this. Let's look at the main energies, and I'm going to give you 2 examples this week of exactly what I was just talking about. So here's the first one. So here's our main energies. There are what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 energies there. There's 11, peace, relax. Number 1, the creative initiate. The 11, you're never supposed to reduce a prime number. A master number. However, the 11 can become the 2, the receptive, to reflect. The 11 and the 1, so 1, 1, 1 becomes a 3. Difficult in the beginning, persevere. 2023 is a 7-year, army, legions, correct discipline, going with correct discipline, knowing we have everything we need. All the numbers. So the 11 plus the 1 becomes a 2, plus the 7 becomes a 19. Approach, advance. The 1 and the 9 become a 10. Treading, cautious advance. The 1 and the 0 become a 1. See how complicated this is? It's cumbersome. There's a lot there to digest. There's a lot there, is my point. And thereby, see, it's all there. Now look at the second option, or the second, same energies, same thing. Now here's option number 2. 11, 1, 7, 12, 19. Simplified. The unseen has been saying to us, don't get caught up in the mayhem. Don't get caught up in the crazy. Don't get caught up in the illusion. Yes, everything, like the previous main energies, everything is present. Everything is working perfectly. However, there is, so don't be in your head, don't be in your ego, mind, personality, in your thought, in your judgments, in your perceptions, because that's going to cause mayhem, disillusion, frustration, anger, resentment. It's going to create shadow elements. There's a more simple way. Walk with your soul. Lead with your soul. Stay in the eye of the hurricane. Stay in the eye of the storm. While the old dismantles itself, simply allow it. Flow with it. Go with it. While you empty your vessel and open up and make space for the new. Because we are sitting, new beginnings, peace, sitting at the altar of destiny. And it is very important for you to understand, sitting, you have a place at the table. You have a place at the altar of destiny. and it is one where you receive. You receive the new. We receive these new opportunities and so forth. Let me jump in. Olivia saying, I'm glad you said that about being patriarchal by the way we react and thereby not be in peace, while blaming others instead of being used to the way we have been for so long. Exactly, Olivia. There's this piece of recognizing. And again, we don't throw the baby out with the bathwater. We don't demonize the past 2,000 plus years. Everything is divine and neutral. Everything is purposeful. This is simply for us, and you're going to see, because we talked about this last week. This is so on point, and I missed this last week. So the unseen brought it back around. So let me just jump into it because it goes right to what Olivia's comment is. Last week in the show, you'll recall that this was from the full moon lunar eclipse that just occurred. It's the last one in the Taurus Scorpio axis, and it finishes up a 19-year cycle. Point being, remember that we were talking about the center here in the X's, and it's like a jack-in-the-box that's popping out, and the tip of the jack-in-the-box points to Pluto at 27 degrees up there at the top, just slightly top left of the chart in the middle. Now, go further to the left, and there's Saturn, the great teacher. And it is sitting at 0 degrees Pisces. Now, we've been talking about divine masculine, patriarchal rule, Piscean era. Well, here's the astrological influences. Saturn, the lord of karma. Karma is balance. We often use other, karma's quote unquote a bitch, like it's retribution. It's not. Karma, divine and neutral, is all about balance. What are we putting out? And that's already coming back to us. But the point here is that Saturn, the great teacher, the lord of karma, is sitting at 0 degrees Pisces. It's going to be there till about sometime in 2025. On 11/4, you see, this coming Saturday, you see that Saturn stations direct. It's going to come to that standstill point. And it's talked about that Saturn will have you focusing on and perhaps rethinking your greater beliefs about the world. So while Saturn is in Pisces, however, even more importantly, it's to go back to the Sabian symbol. This is what I missed. Here's Saturn. Last week I missed this. So here's Saturn, the lord of karma, at this 0 degree point. And remember, it's in a crowded marketplace. Farmers and middlemen display a great variety of products. In any 12-fold division of a complete cycle, for instance, the 12 zodiacal signs and the 12 houses of a birth chart, the 12th section often has been given a negative significance. It can refer to oppressive conditions as it represents a, quote, closing of accounts, a final evaluation of the harvest of the cycle. We are talking about here the closing of accounts of the Piscean era, of the patriarchal rule. And here's Saturn, the great teacher, the lord of karma, sitting, commencing, stationing direct this week, getting ready to commence on this closing of accounts, this final evaluation of the harvest of the cycle. This Sabian symbol goes on to say, a very bad harvest may lead to bankruptcy. A premature revolt may bring the rebel to jail. The dissolute may end in a hospital. In this section of the cycle, a man reaps what he has sown. But it may also be honors, social prestige, the interests of well-managed wealth. In other words, to each, individually and collectively, we will experience what we've sown. And again, it may be, I'm using air quotes, it may be positive or negative, everything's divine and neutral. However, the way we experience what we experience is based on the energies we put out over the course of our time here during this epoch, this cycle, this 2,000 plus year era. It says in this, it is stressed, what is stressed is the coming together in a final experience of community. And remember, the unseen is saying, we're going from community, coming together, community, to unity. Community can be the gathering together. However, it can also mean the hierarchy, the separating of. In unity, there is no separation. You cannot separate unity. There is no hierarchy. Unity is one. And so we are moving from this community, two sides, to unity. It's saying all of the factors previously experienced. So we're talking about in a final experience of community of all factors previously experienced. This means constructive interaction and an interchange of the products of social activity. So we're coming together in this final review. It's like a life review is what they're saying to me. And we're having to look at the good bits and the painful bits. Because in a life review, first thing that comes to me, first thing they're bringing in is, what could I have done better? What do I need to atone for? What don't I ever want to repeat? How might I go about emptying my vessel, letting that go? Atoning for it, own, atone, release. It's all of these aspects, and we're going to experience them individually and collectively. Because remember, this Sabian symbol is all about commerce. Commerce. What can be exchanged? What is of value? Self-value, self-worth, love thy neighbor as thyself. There's a lot here. And that's where all combined with. So here's Lord of Karma, Saturn. We're having this review, this life review. Simultaneously, at the same time, new beginnings, peace. And peace meaning because we're in the lane of soul source connection. We're in the lane of the divine feminine to receive, to nourish ourselves and others. And thereby, we're sitting at the altar of destiny. It's a fait accompli. It's inevitable. It's quote unquote inevitable, certain to happen. So these main energies, the Sabian symbol, Saturn at 0 degrees, and this new beginnings peace, powerful, powerful beginnings. It's not endings, it's beginnings. So let's move through to our mantra, because I want to just stay in this for a moment. And I continued with the same image background, but this week is peace. I bear witness to. So I bear witness to peace. I bear witness to the unfolding of peace as the unseen is guiding, describing, imploring us to see it. Peace is not something outside of us. It is only outside of us when we see it as something to be thought, to achieve through thought, action. However, what happens, how does peace sneak up on you when you're simply being it? There's a difference between doing and being. So world peace, true individual innate peace. It's not something we buy. We can't buy peace. We can't manufacture it. We can't go purchase it. It's not actionary. Peace, true peace, is coming into oneness, unity, oneness with Source. with our soul self, that is where peace resides. We get it individually. It ripples out to the entire whole of the whole. That is why this is such big shift, big energies, big awareness, at least for me. I hope it's resonating with all of you. So let's jump in to hexagram 11. Well, I'm going to share my screen really quickly with you. 1 second, and I want to show you. This is from Pam Youngin's North Point Journal. And again, what we're looking at here is the important part is this piece about Saturn's station. And we're going up here, and it says Saturn's station brings us back to reality in some way, especially regarding our Piscean dreams and ideals. Remember, the ideal becomes the new reality. The hopes, dreams, and wishes become. It is, in a sense, time to get down to business, to take care of our this world responsibilities, and not to allow ourselves to be sidetracked by fantasies or wishful thinking. Now, put that in context of take care of our this world responsibilities. Our this world responsibility is to be heaven on earth. That's our responsibility. It is to be that. It's not to go run amok with ego, mind, personality, and, this external sense of validation and achievement and everything. Our this world responsibility is to come back into union with Source, with Spirit, Source, and Symphony, the unseen, your soul source connection. That's our responsibility. And not to allow ourselves to be sidetracked by fantasies or wishful thinking. Ego, mind, personality. So when we put ego, mind, personality in the sidecar, it's still with us. We still need a healthy ego, mind, personality. We've said this a lot. However, it's not driving. It's not in charge. It's not leading the way. It is in alignment and service to our this world responsibility, which is to reconnect with our soul source connection, to reconnect, to have that experience. Because again, then we come back to that question, who are we now? Who are you? Who am I? Who am I when I connect with my soul? I can guarantee that unless or until you do that, you will be two different people. You'll say, oh, here's my soul self, and here's my ego, mind, personality self. And they're two different selves. It's a great Gemini moment. The twins, Gemini, two different halves. Two different halves of the whole. And we're unifying them. We're bringing them back in. So I don't know about you all. I am so charged up with these energies and this week's messaging because the unseen also said, with all of this going on, they said, first things first. And they literally had me write first, 1ST, the number 1ST / FIRST. First things first. A balancing, in quotes, rebalancing of the scales in all ways, all things, numerically, alphabetically. They are really speaking to us about this recalibration, karma. And there's a beauty in that because karma is balance. It's the rebalancing. It is the reap what you sow. It's the adjustment of the scales where things have been out of balance. For either way, they come back into balance and harmony. So lot of powerful energies going on. So hexagram 11. Let's go to hexagram 11. And if I can bring up what I'm doing, pardon me, sorry, bear with me. Here we are, hexagram 11. And hexagram 11, peace, it's known as Thai. Its action is relax. Its hidden influence, propriety, subordinate. So see, propriety, subordinate the ego, mind, personality to the will of the soul. That is your divine GPS. Period, end of story, have a nice day. And then, once you listen, you're in this lane, okay, source, okay, soul, what are we doing? Then you engage the ego, mind, personality in service to that initiative, to that endeavor, to that next step. All the while, not getting caught up in how. How's already taken care of. Listen, align, listen, align, and then go as guided. The underlying cause, stand still, release. We're releasing the old ways, to Olivia's point. We're releasing the old way. There's a beautiful quote, being free of desires, you will discover that the empire is at peace of its own accord. Because, again, our soul knows, do no harm. Our soul knows the real, true purity of peace, of love, of equanimity, of unity. So being free of desires, meaning ego, mind, personality, desires, you will discover that the empire, the whole of the community, is at peace of its own accord. Welcome, Ava. Yes, it's a little bit, Europe went ahead 1 hour, or behind an hour, so we're off until this coming weekend as the time changes. See, time change. So, hexagram 11, peace. Heaven is below earth and all things move upward in harmony and transform. Peace is a message about going with the flow of your soul source connection, the flow of the times, the flow of the change. Going with the flow. What you are worrying about today won't be as important tomorrow. Anything that had previously been out of place or difficult is now receding. It's crumbling, it's falling apart. The things that are meant to depart us, leave us, are going. The emptying of the vessel. Chances are you will feel relieved by seeing this hexagram. However, in order to know peace, one must experience discord. So because we're in this duality, this era and time of duality, community versus unity, there's discord. There's a shadow aspect. Exactly. Olivia saying worry blocks peace always. Indeed, because where are we when we're in worry? Ego, mind, personality. We're in the wrong lane. We're in the wrong space. And thereby we're blocking our connection to divinity, to source, which is pure, which is peace, harmony, joy, euphoria. It's all over there. But we've been over in this lane for far too long. And yet it's purposeful. We needed to experience, just like this said, in order to know peace, we must know discord. Now, healthy ego, mind, personality, yes. However, there's also a massive sideshow of that creates discord because we're not in soul source connection mode. We're in ego, mind, thinking mode. Hot is only relevant to cold, and similarly, up is meaningless without the idea of down. More importantly, peace is an outlook you can carry with you at all times by remembering cycles. And yet, I would say this is Carrie Hone from cafeausoul.com. It's about remembering cycles, yes. So here we are. We've been in the PISCEAN era. It's a cycle. And we are now seeing the fruits of all of that. We're coming together to have that life review so as to move forward, move on, move through, move to the way. And so, and it's important to remember cycles because, well, when one thing ends, another thing begins. There's a new cycle. So we're meant to show up in the new. We're not meant to cleave to the past and try to prevent it from, look what happens. They're showing me the old heavy stone mill and everything, and it's going around, and all of a sudden somebody throws like a 2x4, they didn't have them at the time, but a piece of wood into it. And what happens? It kind of holds for a second, it's vibrating until the pressure and the weight of the movement and of the stone crushes the lesser, the softer element, the piece of wood. Snap, and what happens? It goes on cycling, evolving, advancing. So remembering cycles, yet peace can be lulled into tranquility and lead to stagnation, as suggested by the underlying cause of standstill. Yes, see, we've taken peace for granted. We've taken our soul source connection and forgotten about it, taken it for granted. We have continuously led with our ego, mind, personality, and thought. Barely accessing, barely remembering, barely connecting to. And so peace eludes us because we've been lulled into this tranquility, and that leads to stagnation. We're demonstrating in the town square, the world events, our stagnation. The message might be to calm down and relax, to take it easy, but there's still an element of change happening. So see, it's about take your hands off the wheel, not do nothing. It's shift gears, shift lanes, empty the vessel. It is to come into peace and harmony and alignment with the new, and to not fear it. There's nothing to fear about the new. Yes, are those that have been in charge going to lose or readjust some of that control and power and leadership? Yes, because we're meant to. Because there's a new era, there's a new opportunity, there's the way. And the way says we're going this way. It's a new change. So it's about relax. It's going to happen. It's inevitable. It's certain to happen. The change, however, is permeating the situation, and it might be difficult to grasp because you are being coached to discover rather than overlay experience with past assumptions. So very true. This change, however, is permeating the situation and might be difficult to grasp because we are being coached to discover it. We're sitting at the altar of destiny. We're being coached to discover something, receive something, rather than overlay the experience with our past assumptions, perceptions, judgments. It's not about overlaying it. It's not about delaying it, stopping it. It is about discovering it, receiving it. It can be a message about seeing the profound reason that heaven's answer can sometimes be no, quote, air quotes, no. But with it comes the words of the mother to a child. Everything is going to be okay. It all has a good purpose and will work out just fine. The message from the mother, the nourishment from the mother, Amanji, the great mother. It's going to be okay. It's all going to work out more than fine. If you are feeling stressed, the hidden influence of subordinate asks you to align your will to the way. See, this is about aligning to soul source, the soul source connection, your soul, your knowing, your intuition, your gut knows the way. Ego, mind, personality? Oh, lots of detours, up, down, negotiate, beg, barter, steal, negotiate, delay, obstruct. Ego, mind, personality, soul source knows the way. Rather than rush ahead to organize tomorrow, enjoy and learn from today. A period of stagnation is transforming into growth and openness. Because again, remember, Pluto's moving into Aquarius for the first time in 246 years. None of us on this planet at this time was here 246 years ago, at least in this incarnation. So the point would be, and that last time was about all of this revolution, French and American revolutions, industrial revolution, advancement. So it's saying, rather than rush ahead and try to organize tomorrow, enjoy and learn from today. A period of stagnation is transforming into growth and openness. If you have had any disagreements, things should improve considerably. Why? Because we're having a life review. Take in the review. Take ownership and responsibility of your part, of our part, and then choose to atone for it. Choose to release the old. Choose to make space, to empty the vessel. This is an excellent answer for relationship questions because it shows that the will of heaven is flowing, so go with it. See, this is about whether it's nations or institutions or relationship in any form, these relationships. And what do they all have in common? Doesn't matter whether it's a business, a government, an institution, a small business, a relationship. The one thing it has in common in all of them: you, people, souls, ego, mind, personalities. So this is an excellent answer for relationship questions, because my relationship to self, my soul source connection, because it shows that the will of heaven is flowing. So go with it. Move along. Good conduct, then contentment. Thus calm prevails in the image of peace. Tai, peace, is the image of moving harmoniously with the flow of events. Here's this beautiful image. Peace is a message about going with the flow. There's a beautiful rock in quote unquote in the way. What does the water do? It simply flows over it, around it. It embodies it. It incorporates it. And it just goes along with the flow. It's a beautiful image for this piece. All weak elements are forced to take their departure as the two great forces of yin and yang come together. The master said, here's our second image and quote, "Make your home the inevitable, certain to happen. Then grief and the pursuit of joy cannot intrude." We talked about this at the top of the hour. The pursuit of peace, the pursuit of joy. That's external. That's ego, mind, personality thinking. That's actionary. Here the master is saying, make your home in the inevitable. Then grief and the pursuit of joy cannot intrude. They can't intrude because you're already in a different lane, space, place. You're not pursuing something. It's already come to you naturally, organically. It permeates your consciousness from inside. It changes you from the inside out. It's not something you're going to get at the local store. It's not something you purchase. Olivia is saying, do you believe there are different universes as we create the world around us? And as we do, change can be just for us differently from those who stay in their own beliefs and create their own chaos. Do we leave them behind as we move on to a different reality? So do we believe there are different universes as we create the world around us? So what they're saying to me, Olivia, the unknown is saying yes and no. In other words, are there other universes? Absolutely. And are we creating different universes, or do we believe that different universes are created? So we create the reality that we are experiencing. That is an ego, mind, personality construct, which means it's an illusion. So the universe is the universe is the universe. And there are multi-universes, there are many. However, we are all operating, all meaning humanity, is operating within this one universe. Doesn't mean we're not rippling out to others, but stay with me in your question. And thereby, are we all, 8 billion souls on the planet, are we all advancing at different stages within this one matrix universe? Yes. And at some point, higher hand, higher will, it's the comment up prior, go with the flow because the will is inevitable. The new is inevitable. And so, do we leave them behind? Again, I'm here, yes and no, meaning they're saying to thy own self be true. So, whatever each will, each soul said it would do, desired to experience, is what will occur in this moment in time, in this transition of change. Some souls, their entire purpose is to be transmuted, to not repeat again. Remember, energy cannot be killed. It can only be transmuted, can be changed. And so there will be those souls that advance in a way that is continuing yet completely different. We're advancing. I know this is a bit of an oxymoron, but what they're articulating is there's a whole set of souls that say we're going to continue to advance in this way. It's a whole new paradigm, a whole new way, a whole new world, whole new universe, whole new order. That's their soul's continuation and desire. Then there's a whole other set or subset of souls, is the way they just said it to me, subset of souls that are saying, we don't wish to complete that or continue with that in this way. We look to be transmuted, forever changed, no longer an aspect, a part of this paradigm. They're saying this paradigm or this growth, this paradigm of growth. They wish to be transmuted, period. So it's like whole other, I'm asking them to give me, because it's like, I'm getting biblical references of like lake of fire type, where you go and are completely transformed, transmuted. Which in that case, and again, it's a little bit of an oxymoron, it is a complete ending, and it stays over there. They're saying to me it's in limbo. It resides over here in limbo. It has been transmuted. However, it's over here. It's set off to the side. It's not continuing to advance and grow. So in that way, we create our realities within the universe, and there is a massive call. Today's show and the energies moving forward, this new beginnings piece, sitting at the altar of destiny, is speaking to every soul, because every soul has the opportunity to choose. It's never too late to choose what you want it to be. And thereby, this whole piece is about, as we advance, we create the new universe, we create the new reality, and meaning in concert with, because Source is creating the new. It's even, I believe it's in Revelations, and I speak from a spiritual place. It says, I am making all things new. The old order of things passes away. So that's what they're speaking to in all of this. And they're bringing our attention because it's like the two energies, main energies, where I was showing you the difference between them. This isn't hard and complicated. You know, yes, it's complex, but it's not hard and complicated. It's very much like 10 commandments, 10 fingers, 10 toes. It's like, it's so simple and yet so profound. So connect with your soul source connection, your soul source GPS. Empty your vessel of all the previous thoughts, emotions, experiences, because they're only going to delay you or hold you back or obstruct you. And they're saying, go with the flow. So the more we empty our vessel, the more we just open ourselves to the new, the more rapidly we advance, because we're just moving with the flow. The flow is inevitable. There is no obstructing the way. That is impenetrable. It will move of its own accord. That is its design. That is its creation. That is its purpose. So there's that piece. In life's relentless pursuit of a better way, anything that would block, this is perfect timing, anything that would block its forward progress must take its departure. In life's relentless pursuit of a better way, anything that would block its forward progress must take its departure. Perhaps that is why the Tao Te Ching states, Tao treats the creatures like straw dogs. What is held tightly in your arms will leave you unable to embrace new opportunity. There's no space. If we're clinging to the old, there's no room. There's no opportunity to receive something new. Sometimes what we cling to is taken away even when we don't understand why. All that you hold is only borrowed. You might as well let it pass freely from your grasp. And remember, they spoke shows ago about the energy of the new and of the divine feminine, and how it's not genie in a bottle. It's not, this energy is not to be controlled and held and blocked and manipulated and so. It is to freely flow through us. And that's what we're talking about. And we're watching on a world stage. We're watching institutions and leaders and peoples trying to cleave to what they know, trying to hold on to, because they know the new is here. They know that it's already knocked and the door's open and it's walking in to set up shop. It's known, you can feel it. And people are either running towards it, running to it, open to it, or trying to prevent it from happening. But like this is saying, all that you hold is only borrowed. You might as well let it pass freely from your grasp, because otherwise you're having the experience of trying to hold on to it, and that's not going to work. It's the boulder in the water. The forward flow of everything moves forward. It incorporates it and it moves it. It just leaves it behind. Another aspect and answer to Olivia's question. Being free of desire and clinging to nothing, you discover a pathway of peace. This is how you can keep a green bough in your heart, so that the singing bird will come. The heart chakra is green. So it's talking about staying in your heart center. The singing bird will come. Cultivate this garden daily, where the joy of spirit can roost. See, this is where things flourish. When we're in that soul source connection, in that heart space, the heart chakra, this is where the singing bird will come. This is where the garden, we cultivate that garden. And that's where the joy of spirit can roost, can flourish, can flower. When you look backward, you can trust that tomorrow will take care of itself because yesterday was meaningful. This allows you to present an observant now. This allows you to be present and observant now. The Master said, be in awe of timelessness. This is how you can dwell in timelessness. All things have their season. Pardon me. I got a tickle there. The timelessness, dwell in timelessness. This is our season. This is our now. This is that beautiful song from Jordan Sparks, literally titled "This Is My Now," and I will place that in the comments. Mindful of the time. 4 other things that the unseen gave us for this week. The second thing was putting it together, bit by bit, piece by piece. So for each of us, do not become overwhelmed by life or the process. Just simply move into your soul source connection space, connect with your soul, and ask your knowing, what is it that I'm to do next? And then do that. They might say to you, we just want you to sit and rest, or we just want you to meditate for 5 minutes, so it doesn't have to be actionary all the time, or the action can be the receiving, receptive. So it is, and then imagine, because what they were showing, the Master Weaver, the unseen is putting it together, bit by bit, piece by piece. It's all been divinely orchestrated, divinely crafted, created. It's already there. We, to Olivia's point, not all, but many, will simply move into that new. It'll just whoop, and there we are. I know otherworldly aspects, but third thing, they said, the inner journey awakens. So again, they've been talking all along about true peace, real joy, real happiness, and everything resides, heaven on earth, it resides within us from a soul source connection state, not something that's exterior, outside of us. So the inner journey awakens. The real one, the real you, the real journey. So they're alerting us to the fact, I'm not sure that's the right word, alert. They're awakening, they're advising, awakening, alerting. The inner journey awakens. So again, from the inside out, which means I'm back to the Gemini twins, the Gemini aspect, the real you, the real one, the soul you, the real journey awakens, comes to the fore. Number 4, and I loved this one. They said, kissing cousins, and then I heard kissing camels. Now, in Colorado Springs, they literally have at Garden of the Gods, kissing camels. It's a rock formation that looks like 2 camel heads that are kissing. The camels denote, they're a sign of wealth, a sign of developing a trade route, a way, a commerce, an exchange. And kissing cousins, something that is of a very similar character to another thing of the same type. So again, they are making us aware, consciously aware, this kissing cousin, this Gemini aspect, this the real us, the other half of us, is coming to the fore. So the more we align with it now, in the present now, the more familiar, the faster, the more familiar, the better we are. Because imagine somebody that doesn't even believe that their soul exists, or doesn't even believe that there's a soul source connection, or whatever. How jarring, Jack in the Box, because it will startle, surprise, or entertain. So the further you are in openness and connection with your soul, the more, quote unquote, entertained, enamored, like in awe of your timelessness, of your divine essence, of your soul self. The further away you are from that, imagine how surprising or startling that can feel or be. This is what they're talking about with this kissing cousins. And there's more to Hexagram 11. I will post it as I always do. Give it a thorough read. It's really quite beautiful. They also mentioned, when we were talking about camels, they said, we call camels, this is the gift of God, Ata Allah, because they provide so much of what we need in life: transport, milk, food, clothing. Arab poets also call them the, quote, ship of the desert, or land ship, as they have the perfect bodies for life in the desert. So again, here's this gift from God, and they're saying to us, these kissing camels, kissing cousins, that they are the soul, our soul self, is exactly what we need. It's exactly what we need at this moment in time. It is exactly what we need moving forward into the new. And lastly, they gave us, it's the song from Journey. I'm going to bring this up really quickly and share it on my screen. It's the song Faithfully. It's track number 5 from the album Frontiers. Frontiers meaning borders, or to exceed. It's like what's beyond what we know. That's known as the frontier. It's to go beyond what we know. It's what's on the other side of what's known. So there's no mistakes here. And what is being said, while this was a song about a relationship and everything, a love relationship, this is talking about our soul self relationship, source and us. This highway run into the midnight sun, wheels go round and round, you're on my mind. Restless hearts, sleep alone tonight, sending all my love along the wire. So it's to remember that source, spirit, source, and symphony, the unseen, your soul source, your soul, is sending this love along the wire. It is saying to us, they say that the road ain't no place to start a family, meaning how this can apply where life on planet Earth isn't easy. It's no place to start a family. It's not easy. Right down the line, it's been you and me. It's always been us and source, the unseen, our soul. And loving a music man ain't always what it's supposed to be. Oh girl, you stand by me. I'm forever yours, faithfully. So there's a beautiful message to culminate this week's show, that the unseen spirit, source, and symphony, your soul, is saying to you, I'm forever yours, faithfully. I've always been there. I always will be there. And as we move along, and this is number 5, as we roll along into the new, be one with your soul and be one with source. Nourish your divine masculine, your Piscean, your patriarchal aspects. Be willing to see your life review. Be willing to own, atone, release. Empty your vessel, make space. Know that everything is borrowed, and that as we arrive in the new, we will receive. We sit at the altar of destiny. We're already there. So thank you all so very much. It's a powerful, powerful kickoff to the November energies. And it's really, that's too limiting. I mean, this is the new. This is a profound kickoff to the energies. And so I look forward to seeing you all on the 8th, 11/8. And until then, be well, be gentle, and be kind with yourself and with others. Much love to you all. See you next week.